Well, welcome back, everybody. As I was saying to you all before we started, I've been doing a lot of my work on my clinic space that I'm getting ready and doing a lot of things myself, pretty much everything myself, including like plumbing and all of those like repairs that normally people would call people to do. But like I said, I am definitely into DIY, doing things myself if I can. And one of the things I really like about doing that is the fact that it's so empowering to look back and see like, oh, hey, I did that, I fixed that, and I didn't need any assistance from a plumber or a construction worker or whatever. And for me, that's like a huge confidence booster. And like Colleen was saying, or whoever said it, I think Colleen said it, maybe Valerie, it's a great skill to fall back on. And so, yeah, Durga's gonna bark and she says she agrees. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and practice. Feel free to close your eyes or gaze at a point out in front of you. Try to ignore my dog. Just notice how you're feeling today, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. As a way of stepping into our practice, we'll sing the sound Om one time. Feel free to sing along or listen. Take a full breath in. Exhale completely. Inhale again. Release your hands. Open your eyes. Let's begin with some cat and cow. Come onto your hands and knees. Rounding your spine, bringing your chin toward your chest, tailbone to your legs. And on your inhale, lengthening your spine, curling into your lower, middle, and upper back. Lift your chin and broaden your sitting bones apart. Continue back and forth at your own pace with your own breath. Feel free after a few rounds to swing your hips side to side, roll your shoulders, head, and neck. Be more organic in your movements. Downward facing dog. Lift your knees up. Reach your thighs back, heels toward the floor. Push your hands down and forward, feet down and back. Move your rib cage toward your spine, tailbone toward your heels. Feel free to shake your head a few times, loosen up your neck, your jaw. Unclench your teeth if they are. Lower your knees back to the floor. Bring your knees and ankles together, toes curled under, slide your knees back. Have a seat on your feet. Interlace fingers, extend your arms toward the ceiling, pushing your palms up, rooting your hips down. Rotate upper inner arms back and pull on your fingers with each hand. Thunderbolt. Release your hands. Take your tops of your feet to the floor. Squeeze your knees and ankles in. Have a seat. Interlace fingers behind your back. Squeeze shoulder blades toward each other. Work your arms towards straight. Maybe round your spine, forehead toward your knees while keeping your hips on your heels. Push up through your knuckles. Move your shoulders back. Don't hold your breath. Slowly come back up. Release your hands. Take your hands to the floor in front of you on your all fours, hands and knees. Take your knees a little bit wider, big toes together. Take your right arm all the way open to the right. Swing your right arm under your left arm. Shoulder ear to the floor. Revolved child's pose. Feel free to keep your left hand where it is or walk your left arm forward. Push your left hand down and forward and pull your right hand down and back as you press your left hip back and your right hip forward. Lift your left armpit away from your ear by pushing your hand down. Walk your left hand back. Reach your right arm all the way back up. Then lower your right hand to the floor. Lift your left arm all the way up. Take your left shoulder and ear to the floor. Maybe walk your right hand forward into your left. Push through your right arm, pull with your left arm. Press right hip back, left hip forward. Breathe here. Walk your right hand back. Lift your left arm all the way up. Lower your hand. 8 angle pose. Anahatasana. Take your chest to the floor in between your hands. My talking might get a little muffled here because the microphone. Stay here or walk your hands a little further back. Push your hands down and forward. Shoulders away from the floor. If your chin in the floor is too much, you can take your lips to the floor, but pucker your lips like you're going to kiss. And then keep your pressure off of your teeth as much as possible. Slide your hips back. Push your hips down, shoulders back, and lift your torso up, cobra pose. You can come up as low or as high as you'd like for this first cobra pose. Move your shoulders back, lift your chin, and breathe. Lower down, rest your face or forehead on your arms or on the floor. Half frog, Ardha Bakasana. Take your left forearm under your left shoulder, or left elbow under your shoulder. Bend your right knee. Reach back, grab your right foot, and pull your right heel toward your right outer hip. Square your hips to the floor. Push foot into hand, hand into foot. So you're still activating your right thigh as you're stretching it, even just a little. Squeeze your inner thighs toward each other to keep pulling in toward the midline. Lower your foot. Right forearm to the floor. Bend your left knee, reach back, grab your foot. Pull your heel toward your hip. Square your hips. Push foot into hand, hand into foot. Lengthen out of your hips with your spine. Lower your foot. Lower all the way down to your belly. Take your left arm to the left, palm flat, and your right hand next to your chest. Roll to your left side for a pec stretch. Scoot your hips slightly forward. Lift your right leg, bend your knee, maybe step your foot behind you. Feel free to drop your ear to the floor. If you'd like to add more shoulder stretch, take your right arm up, point your palm back, bend your elbow, and just hang your arm behind your back toward the floor. Keep activating your outer left leg, pushing down to the floor. And then push your left hand down into the floor. Slowly untwist. Switch sides, take your right arm to the right. Palm flat, shoulder back. Roll onto your right hip. Scoot your hips forward, lift your left leg, bend your knee, step your foot behind you. Feel free to drop your ear to the floor. Maybe lift your left arm. Point your palm back, bend your elbow. Let your arm hang behind your back. Take your left arm up, lower your hand, roll to your belly. Push back up to downward dog. Step your right foot outside your right hand. Spin your back heel to the floor. Walk your hands forward and to your left. Widen your right knee to the right, tack your right hip back, and push your left foot down and toward the right. Triangle pose. From here, turn your left toe straight out to the left, and then straighten your right leg. Take your right hand outside your right foot or onto your right shin or on a block, and then lift your left arm toward the ceiling. Triangle can feel different when you come into it from the ground rather than from standing. A little added effect of something different, maybe you don't know what, but it's there. Reach out in all directions, all limbs. Extended side angle, feel free to bend your right knee and place right forearm to right thigh or right hand outside your right foot. Extend your left arm beyond your ear. Turn your torso toward the ceiling to the left. Push through your back foot. Reach through your left arm. Keep pushing your right knee into your right arm to the right. Parsvottanasana, left hand to the floor, surround your leg with your hands, turn your left toe sharply forward. You can hop your foot in if you need to, and then tack your right hip back, left hip forward, and fold heart first, head last, face toward your shin. Maybe hands forward or hands backward, but push hands down and forward regardless. Half moon, walk your hands forward, bend your right knee, take your right hand forward and to the right. Lift your left leg parallel to the floor, stack your hips, stack your shoulders and wrists. Reach out in all directions just like triangle pose. Dog lunge, step back, going back where you started, and then back to downward dog. Step your left foot outside your left hand, dog lunge. Spin your right heel to the floor. Tack your outer left hip back. Push your right foot down into the left. Walk your hands forward. Fold inside your leg. Slow, steady breaths. Feeding oxygen to all your muscles. Triangle pose. Turn your right toes straight out to the right. Left hand outside your foot or on your left shin. Stack your shoulders, twist open. Reach your right arm up. Push your hips forward. Lengthen out through your arms, legs, top of head. Extended side angle, either forearm to thigh or left hand outside your foot, right arm beyond your ear. Keep twisting open. Push through your back foot. Widen your left knee more to the left. Parshvottanasana. Right hand to the floor, surround your foot with your hands, turn your right toe sharply in, square your hips, lengthen your spine, and fold heart first, head last, either hands forward, or walk your hands back around your spine, forehead toward your knee. Inhale, lengthen, half moon, step your left hand forward into the left, step into your left leg, stack your hips, stack your shoulders and wrists, reach out through your limbs, push through your standing big toe mountain. Dog lunge, step back. Back heel to the floor, hands forward. Downward dog. Garland pose. Bring your feet together. Bend your knees, let your heels lift off the floor. Walk your hands back to your feet, then widen your knees and squat in between your legs. Walk your hands forward around your spine. Pull your shoulders back against your legs. Squeeze your legs into your arms. You can either stay in this variation or take your left arm to the left. Point your palm up, shoulder back, bend your elbow, grab your left heel, pull yourself in. Right arm to the right, shoulder back, palm up, bend your elbow, grab your heel, pull yourself in. And then when you wiggle in as far as you can get, push your heels toward your hands, and then push your hands back into your heels. Push your forearms into the floor and pull your shoulders back. Maybe lean back, maybe taking your heels a little closer to the floor so where you're actually standing on your hands with your heels and your hands are on the floor. Lean forward, walk your hands out, downward dog. Step or jump to the front of your mat. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Take your feet 2 fists width apart. And then step on your hands with your feet so your palms point up, toes up to your wrist creases, thumbs pointing in, flare your fingers wide. And then maybe massage your hands with your feet, wiggling your feet around, pushing into the balls of your feet. You can widen your elbows to the side, fold heart first, head last into your legs. Next inhale, lengthen your spine. Step off of your hands. Bend your knees slightly, hands to hips, shoulders back, and stand up. Great. Come to the middle of your mat, and then I guess face whatever direction you have room out to the sides. And then pull your right knee up toward your chest. Grab your shin, pull your shoulders gently back, stand up tall. Good. Take your left hand to your left hip, and then your right arm inside your right leg. Grab your big toe, first 2 fingers and thumb. Push your foot and hands into each other, and then kick your leg to or towards straight. Only straighten your right leg if you can keep your standing leg straight. Pull your shoulders back, lift through your heart. Keep your chin level with the floor. Take left arm to the left for balance, or keep hand on hip. Right leg to the right as you tuck your outer right hip underneath you. Push foot into hand, hand into foot. Feel free to gaze to your left. Look forward, leg forward, hand to hip. Lower your foot. Pull your left knee towards you. Root down into your standing leg. Grab your shin. Stand up tall. Root through your standing leg. Right hand to hip. Left arm inside leg. Grab your big toe. Push foot into hand, hand to foot. Kick forward. Point toe and kneecap up. Lengthen through the top of your head. Open, right arm to the right, left leg to the left, tuck your outer left hip underneath you, maybe gaze to your right. Look forward, hand to hip, leg forward, lower your foot. All right. Turn and face your front of your mat and come back into downward dog. And then lower your knees to the floor. Lower your forearms to the floor. Take your elbows in a little bit more. Push your elbows down and wide so your arms are now parallel. Your skin moves in, your bones move out. Push evenly through the inner and outer edges of your forearms and hands. And then from here, keep your gaze lifted, curl your toes under, lift your knees, dolphin. Keeping your gaze lifted to engage your upper back muscles and neck muscles, maybe walk your feet forward. Uncrinkle your forehead if you can. Try to relax any muscles that are not necessary to hold the pose. Push through your elbows and wrists evenly. Grow your upper arm bones longer, like you're trying to push them deep into the floor, even underground. Lower your knees. Come all the way down onto your belly for Sphinx pose, forearms to the floor. Make sure your elbows are under your shoulders, maybe slightly in front of them. Push down through your hips. Push your forearms down, roll your shoulders back. Lengthen up out of your hips, through your spine, through the top of your head. Keep the back of your neck long as you curl back. Lower down. Dhanurasana. Bend your knees. Reach back, grab your feet, outer edges, thumbs pointing down. Walk your knees in a couple inches each. Squeeze your inner ankles toward each other so your arms are now more shoulder distance apart. And then push your feet back into your hands to lift your torso up. Pull your hands into your feet and pull up. Push up with your feet to lift your knees off the floor. Feel free to rock forward and back or just be still. A lot of times naturally, just by breathing, you'll rock a little bit. rest. Forehead or one side of your face to the floor. Downward dog. Into pigeon prep. Right knee behind your right wrist. Point your right toes toward your left hip. Slide your left knee back. Squeeze your legs in and stay upright. Press your tailbone forward. Lengthen through your spine up through the top of your head. Grow the front of your body longer. You can stay here or quad stretch. Place your right hand in front of your shin or on your right thigh. Bend your left knee. Reach back, grab your left foot. Pull your heel towards your hip. Square your hips and torso forward. Breathe. Mermaid pose. Slide your left elbow to your left foot, and then point your left fingers up. Kick your foot into your arm so much that your right arm gets light. Reach your right arm up, bend your elbow. Maybe grab your fingers by your left ear. Keep doing your best to turn forward. Lower your hands. Downward dog. Step your left knee forward. Lower your right knee, slide it back. Stay upright, press tailbone forward. Lengthen up, out of your hips. Pull your shoulders back. Stay here or quad stretch. Left hand in front of your shin. Reach back, grab your foot. Pull your heel toward your hip. Square hips and torso more forward. Mermaid. Slide your elbow crease down to your foot, point your fingers up, kick back, lift your left arm, reach back, grab your fingers, square more forward, breathe. Lower your hand, lower your foot, down dog. Take your knees to the floor. Turn your hands toward backwards somewhere along the way so your fingers point toward your knees, thumbs point out for a wrist stretch. The closer your knees are to your hands, the easier. The further away, the more intense the stretch will be. Micro bend your elbows so you're not hyperextending. And breathe. Turn your hands back around. Come into child's pose. Knees wide, toes together, forehead, tip of nose on the floor. Rest your forehead. Rest your neck and jaw, your face. Camel pose. Got all the back bends today. Come up onto your knees. Feel free to pad your mat or pad your knees with your mat, doubling it up or placing a blanket underneath. You can either curl your toes under or point your toes straight back. Hands to hips. Pull your shoulders back, lift through your sternum, push through your knees, press your hips forward. Curl back. Keep repeating those actions, hips forward, shoulders back, curl back. Maybe drop your hands to your feet. Push your hips forward, shoulders back, curl back, neck long. Lift your heart up first, head last. Feel free to interlace fingers behind your neck and then lift up gently. Great for if you get headaches after that. Virasana, either with your knees closer, your heels a little bit wider than your hips, either sit right on the floor or use any kind of prop like a block or a blanket to hold your bottom up for you. Once you're where you're at, use your hands to pull the skin out from under your knees and then sit up nice and tall, pulling your shoulders gently back. Maybe hands on your thighs, you can face them down or up, do a mudra, whatever makes you happy. Dandasana. Feel free to push down through your hands, cross your legs, and extend your legs out in front of you, or sit up and then come to a seated position. Take your legs straight, tone your thighs, lift your kneecaps, flare your toes. Your feet can be hip distance or together, just like in standing forward folds. Paschimottanasana. Feel free to bend your knees or straighten your legs, ribs to thighs. Reach your hands forward, grab your feet, widen your elbows to the sides. And remember, it's pulling your ribs over across your thighs rather than just bending your back here. You're trying to lengthen first, just like in back bends. Before you bend, we grow longer. Face toward your shins. Next inhale, lengthen your spine, sit up. Lie on your back. Sukhi Randrasana, needle's eye, right ankle to left knee. Clamp your heel toward your hip as you widen your right knee to the right, and pull your legs toward your chest. Interlace fingers around your left thigh or shin, and draw your legs in a little more closely. Feel free to rock side to side on the right side of your back for an extra massage. Keep your right ankle on your left knee. Let go of your left leg with your hands. Take your arms out like cactus arms. Left foot to the floor. Scoot your hips a little bit to your right. And then take the sole of your right foot flat on the floor to the left. Take your left leg, outer leg to the floor with you. Push foot into knee, knee into foot. And then point your right knee actively toward the ceiling. Tack your right hip away from your right shoulder. And then pull your shoulders back into the floor. Stay here, or Tibetan weaponry, revolved variation. Point your right knee toward your face. Grab your outer right foot with your left hand, your inner left foot with your right hand. Take your left heel to your outer left hip toward the floor. And then kick your right leg towards straight to the left. Rotate outer right hip away from your shoulder as you pull your right shoulder back toward the floor. Push feet into hands, hands into feet. Bend your right knee. Point your right knee up. Let go of your feet. Lift your legs up. Keep your right ankle crossed over your left knee and scoot your hips a little to the left. Take your right knee and your inner left thigh toward the floor. Your left inner thigh will most likely be hovering off the floor. Push your foot into your leg in your foot, and grab your left wrist with your right hand. Pull up as you push your knee in the opposite direction. Unhook your wrist. Keep your foot on your knee. Slide your left foot to the right a little so you can lift your left legs back up. Then pull your legs toward your chest again like you were going to go into Sukhi Rendrasana again. Take your right hand to your outer right foot, and then take your right knee over to the right, half happy baby. Take your left hand to your outer left ankle. Point your left toes. Lean more to the right, and then flip the top of your left foot to the floor. If that doesn't happen, you can just hold your leg where it is, getting your foot as close to the floor as you can. Otherwise, if you're on the top of your foot, you can slide your hand out from under your foot and grab your outer left ankle and pull as you scoot down a little bit, only if it feels okay to do so. Maybe straighten your right leg out to the right for your another Tibetan weaponry variation. Half Supta Virasana, half Supta Padangusthasana, leg to side. Lean your weight to the right, bend your right knee, and then pull your left knee up to untuck your foot. And then come back to center. Straighten your legs toward the ceiling for a moment. Flare your toes. Great. Second side. Take your left ankle over your right knee. Clamp your heel toward your hip as you widen your left knee to the left. Then pull your legs toward your chest. Interlace fingers around your right thigh or shin. Pull your legs in. Feel free to rock side to side on the left side of your spine. Or your back, not your spine. Keep your ankle crossed over your knee, let go of your shin, arms like cactus arms. Right foot to the floor, scoot your hips a little to the left. Take your legs to the right, sole of left foot flat, left knee pointing up. Clamp your heel towards your hip. Push foot into leg, leg into foot. First Tibetan weaponry. Point your left knee towards you. Grab your outer foot with your right hand to your left foot, and then your right foot with your left hand, and pull your right heel to your right hip, and maybe kick your left leg towards straight. Push hands into feet, feet into hands, tack your left shoulder back. Rotate outer left hip away from you. Bend your left knee. Place your left foot back to the floor flat, point your knee up, let go of your feet, lift your legs up, scoot your hips to the right, take your knees to the left, slide your right foot to the right, push foot into leg, leg into foot, maybe grab your right wrist with your left hand and pull up. Extend legs and arms in opposite directions. Let go of your wrist. Keep your foot on your knee. Slide your right foot in a little bit to lift your legs back up, hips to center. Pull your legs in like Sukhi Randrasana. Grab your left outer foot with your left hand. Take your left knee over to the left, lean to the left. Take your right hand to your outer right foot, and then flip your right leg over. Get to where you can get. Each side will feel different. And then pull yourself down if you'd like to go a little deeper. Maybe extend your left leg to the left. Lean your weight to the left. Untuck your foot as you bend your knees. Roll back to center. Come into full happy baby. Grab the outer edges of both of your feet. Push your feet into your hands, hands into your feet. Gently rock side to side. Allow your lower back to round. Deepen and lengthen your breath. Slide your hands down to the tops of your ankles. Pull your heels toward your sitting bones. Let your knees go wide. You can let your shoulders relax. Just keep your hands actively holding onto your feet. Let your legs relax too. Just hang out here for several breaths. Slowly pull your legs back in. Wrap your arms around your legs. Give yourself a hug. Squeeze knees into arms, arms and knees. Maybe do a little rocking motion, side to side or in circles. Whenever you feel ready, come all the way down into Shavasana. Rest on your back, belly, side. Take your legs up a wall if you'd like. And rest.